Gear does matter. Let me explain why. When creating early on, we learned that the story's everything, and the story really is everything. That's not a lie. And it doesn't really matter if we're shooting with a Red or we're shooting with an iPhone. The story is still number one. But in my opinion, and this is where this video is gonna go, in my opinion, our gear can take our story to the next level. Us camera nerds, when we're building out a story and we have the gear to support the story, it makes the story for us that much better. It makes the story more fun to create. And it makes the overall experience a lot better. And in result, gives a real good visual to the viewer's eye. I've broken gear into 3 tiers, and there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And I'm gonna get into those today. The choice of gear is all opinionated. I have an opinion on what gear I use, and I have opinion on how I've tiered gear over my years and years of experience, but that differs from person to person. You can be an amateur content creator, or you can be a pro content creator, and we live in a world where we can do everything with our phone. We can shoot 4K 24, 4K 60. We can shoot HD in 120 frames per second, 240 frames per second. We can do all of that with a phone. We have modes we can go into. We have portrait modes, we have cinematic mode. We're able to shoot ProRes now on these iPhone 14s. We have all of these reasons why we can use a phone. But until we figure out what a camera can do, a DSLR, an SLR, until we figure out what that can do and how a lens and depth of field and being able to control your ISO and your white balance and all those things come into play, until we know what we can do with that, the phone is pretty good. But once we figure out what we can do and the things you can do to create more of a style to your stuff, a personality to your stuff, then we really get into the fun part. So like I said, everything needs to have a reason. Our camera, our lens, our lights, our mic, down to our SD card. These all need to have a reason on why we are using them. And all of these things are tools. So as I go tier to tier, these things are tools, and you'll get through a tool. I have my phone right here, and this phone was a tool when I first started creating. And once you master the tool, then it's time to upgrade and go to the next tool. Next thing it would be this, my Fuji X-T3. Once you master it in the video form, then it's time to upgrade to the next thing. The next thing is the FX3. Once you master that, then you move to the next thing. Make sure you focus on mastering the gear you have in those tools, and once you master them and you master what they can do, then it's time to hit that next level and upgrade, so you're always bettering yourself and bettering your product and your story. I have 2 filmmakers that I want to talk about that are totally different, but also very similar. And the first one is Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon's focus is polish. It is high quality. Every shot, every cut, everything he does, even every sound effect he does, has a reason for it. And it's just, everything is thought out. And because of that, there's a nice polish from in point to out point. And then we have Casey Neistat, who is probably one of my favorite creators. What I explain his stuff is high quality, organized chaos. And there's a reason for everything he does, but the way he does it is just so like in tune to him, where there's a polish and a high quality that he has that you also see in Peter. And that's what I'm really into, is finding the styles these creators have and being able to dissect those. But with the story and with the gear they're using and the ability to bring that together, you really can see the style they've built and the style they've created. So my first tier is my starting tier, and it's like shooting with an iPhone. You're able to pull out a phone in your pocket and have high quality photos and videos and be able to shoot really anywhere you are, whenever you want, wherever you want, anywhere, on a whim. You're able to take it out and shoot. And when you're in an A-roll setup like this, you're able just to take out your phone, set it up on a tripod or line it up on some books and shoot your A-roll. You're able to do that with the phone, and that's the beauty of it. You're able to use weird lights in your apartment or wherever you're shooting to illuminate off your face, and that's really where you start. And at that point, the story is the most important thing, because as the phone shoots high quality, until you get your hands on a real video camera, a real digital camera, you don't really know what you're able to do, and you really have to rely on the story, because your gear's not gonna do it for you. And that's where I wanna jump into tier 2. Once you graduate the phone stage, then you can have the real fun. You're able to buy a camera body, and from that you're able to attach a lens on. Do you want a prime lens? Do you want a low aperture lens? Do you want a nice zoom lens? Do you want a wide lens? You have so many options you can choose from. And then from there, you can control things like your white balance. You can control things like your shutter speed. You can choose what codec comes out of the camera. You wanna shoot 4K or 1080. And then even things like the most important thing with the lens and the body is you're able to control your depth of field. And in my opinion, that's the most important thing that you don't really get with a phone. You have the fake portrait mode, which is like a digitalized low aperture shot. But with this, you have like a manual one, and you can really control how far you are from your backdrops. And then from this, you also get to upgrade things like your audio. You're able to attach a shotgun mic, and with a shotgun mic, your audio is gonna be much, much cleaner. You're able to do things like attach a mic over the top and get clean audio that way. You're able to play with lights off your face and start to build this atmosphere and build this scene like I have right here. You're able to do all that when you hit this tier 2, and you really know what you're able to do with the gear you have and that upgraded gear, and you just slowly keep adding to it, and your arsenal becomes a lot meaner when it comes to filming. This tier, in my opinion, bridges the gap. It takes you from starting out and really learning how things work to being able to kind of be experienced in the things you're using. And I think that's real fun with the jump from tier 1 to tier 2. And then finally, tier 3. Tier 3 is when you can, in my opinion, go back. You're almost going back and you can focus more on the story because you have the gear to kind of complement what you're talking about. And when you get to tier 3, that's when you can have a lot of fun. And I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. When I was in tier 1, story was the #1 focus. You had to get the story nailed down before you started filming because the visuals weren't gonna really help you out along the way. And then when you get to tier 2, your focus is really the visuals. And for me, it was always the visuals with tier 2 because I really had to focus on how I was gonna make this appealing to the eye also and be able to tell the story in a way that was visually pleasing. But when you get to tier 3, you can backtrack more and you can really focus on the pre-production and focus on the story. And an example of that is, I'm at tier 3 with my video gear right now, and my kit right now. I have a pro level light, I have pro level audio, and I have a pro camera. And what's nice about these things are they're set up. So all I have to do is sit down and hit record. So it gives me more time to script, gives me more time to use in pre-production, gives me more time to really tell the story. And as the story is the #1 thing and the most important thing, now you have the gear to complement it. And I'm a gear nerd, I'm a video nerd at heart, I'm a tech nerd at heart. And the fact that I can use this gear to help tell my story, and I have more fun being able to do B-roll sequences with it, set up a fun A-roll shot with it, and be able to just build my atmosphere, build my personalities straight through the visuals is really, really fun. The fact that I'm able to shoot S-Log with this and color the way I want to color and use all the pre-production time in the world to set up the set colored the way I want it colored is amazing. Unfortunately, the thing with tier 3 is as we get higher in the tier list, gear prices get a lot higher. And that's what you're gonna have to pay as you get better in this hobby, this career, whatever this is, becomes more serious for you. Your gear investments are gonna get more serious, and you're gonna learn that there's a lot more you can do with the camera in your hand. At the end of the day, to get yourself to tier 3, you have to go through 1 and 2. That's just how it is. And I think that's the beauty of content creation and building your own brand is being able to go through the tiers. It's being able to learn at the lowest tier and see yourself graduate from that tier and make the decision to move into tier 2 and make content within that tier and eventually get to tier 3. But what's beautiful is the process, and the process of filmmaking, the process of creation. It's just a fun process to be able to go through. And the thing is, it's visual, so you can go back years and see a progression in your story, your gear, yourself, your quality, your personality, all of that. You just see growth, and it's just really fun to see. So that's my fun little thing on like content growth, is that it's gradual and it's a process. So that's why I think gear matters, and it more so matters, and as your story grows, your gear should grow with it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know down in the comments what you think on why gear should matter or why it shouldn't and how it helps the story. And until the next one, guys, peace.